Hi, welcome to Naturally Nerdy Naya. I am your gracious host, Naya, and today we have another wash day routine. This routine is going to be significantly shorter than my last routine, and that was because I wanted y'all to see my full routine, everything I do outside of the shower, so you can kind of see the steps that I take. So I'm already washed, already conditioned, and the leave-in's in, and we're prepped and we're ready for my wash and go. But first I'm going to talk a little bit about the products I use when I wash and condition my hair, so that way you can kind of understand what I put in, and then I'm going to talk about the product review that I'm going to be going over. All right, sounds good? Awesome. Okay, now what I wash my hair with. So I needed a little bit of a protein treatment, and when I do my protein, I like to clarify my hair, and I like to really cleanse my hair so that way the protein bonds can really bind to my hair strands. I am low porosity, low density, and so it does take a lot sometimes for whatever it is that I'm trying to get in my hair to get in my hair because of the hair follicles being so tightly closed. And so removing any residue, any product that I've had my last styling really helps those products to penetrate the shaft of my hair. So I use my trusty Melanin, the African Black Soap Reviving Shampoo. My last review, I covered this shampoo, and the more I use it, the more I actually like it. When I first used it, I wasn't too sure about how often I was going to use it, and I misspoke. I don't wash my hair every day, but the point was I didn't need to use this every wash day. But more likely when I'm gonna do some sort of, treatment, or if I really just wanna make sure my hair is thoroughly cleansed. So I use this, and it once again, the products I use don't have a whole lot of chemicals in it that would create a barrier on my hair strands. So once again, this felt kind of stripping, but I wanted to make sure I got all the gels and stuff out of my hair. So when I did my protein treatment, I could reap the great benefits of my protein treatment. So this is what I shampooed with, my Melanin African Black Reviving Shampoo. And feel free to check out my previous video where I go into a more fuller description and a fuller review of the shampoo. I followed that shampoo with a Keratin 2-minute reconstructor. This is a really great protein treatment, especially a quick one in between more intense protein treatments. There is a two-step one that I use once or twice a year, and when I do purchase it, I will do a video over that particular product because it's really good for protein treatment. You just put this on, leave it on for about 5 minutes. I did all this in the shower, so everything was nice and steamy, and hopefully my cuticles was open enough to receive the benefits of this protein treatment. And it's pH balanced. There are some chemicals in it, so it's not 100% natural, but if you really want a really good protein treatment that helps with chemical services, styling and heat, brittle hair, dry hair, sometimes I feel like my hair needs it when it's starting to feel a certain way. In future videos, I'll talk more about how to know if you need a protein treatment, because sometimes it's a toss-up. So I normally alternate between moisturizing and protein treatment just to make sure I'm not getting too much of one thing. So I did this 2-minute reconstructor, and then I followed up with the Curlsmith Double Cream Deep Quencher. So I followed up with a deep conditioner because you have to create a balance. So you can't just do protein and neglect your moisture. So I did follow with a deep conditioner, and I did find out that they made this in a full size. Surprisingly, after I recorded my video, I was able to find it. I don't know if it's available at my store, but I do know they make a bigger jar. But I'm just gonna hold on to my little samples because these are really expensive. But I love this conditioner. This is my go-to conditioner when I really want my hair to feel really soft and hydrated and my curls to really shine. This is my go-to conditioner. So once again, I use this, I believe, in my last video, and I go over I think I go over all the ingredients, but this has, now that I think about it, I do go over the ingredients in my last video, but this is really great. This is my go-to deep conditioner. I left that in for a good over an hour. I did a heat cap, I don't have it with me, but the next time I'll make sure to have it on me so you can see the kind of heat cap I use. But it's the kind you put in the microwave and you heat it up increments, and you just kind of sit it on your hair. And then I wrapped it, had to go to an appointment, and so it had ample enough time to really, you know, set on my hair. And so my hair is thoroughly moisturized. And then I went ahead and washed that out, and now I put in my leave-in, which is the Pattern, and I talked about this in my last video as well. I love this leave-in conditioner. The last time I used Main's Choice, which normally is a good one too, but I feel like this one really does the trick. Like, it really gets in there and it moisturizes my hair very thoroughly. So I really like this leave-in conditioner, but it's by Pattern, and more likely I'll be purchasing the full size as soon as I'm done with this one. You can actually refill these if you need to travel. So like the hole is big enough to where you can like pump some more in there and just kind of use it as a travel whenever we are able to travel, because right now we can't travel. Yeah, I mean, we can, but should we? I don't know, maybe. All right. All right, so everything is in. Okay, so everything is in, and I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna be using as far as my wash and go. Okay, so in my last video I talked about we will be reviewing the Ecoslay Jello shot. But this is the Ecoslay Jello shot for rebellious curls. My curls are not that rebellious, but there are some girls who would love to have something slay their curls because their curls can be, you know, a tad bit difficult. Ecoslay's Jello shot easily allows the most textured tresses achieve long-lasting frizz-free results with okra, aloe, nettle, and chamomile. This super thick, nutrient-rich formula delivers a firm hold with loads of shine. So you're supposed to apply liberally to soaking wet hair, and then air dry or diffuse. You can also use it on dry hair as well. I did not try this on dry hair, but if you want to experiment, you go right ahead. And the ingredients are water, okra extract, aloe vera juice, pectin, chamomile, flower extract, nettle leaf extract, melissa leaf extract, peppermint leaf extract, horsetail leaf extract, yucca vera leaf extract, propanediol, which is a corn derived preservative. So you need some preservatives because you don't want stuff growing in your hair products. And then there's some other things that balances the pH level. So you get quite a bit. My hair is not very dense, so I don't need a whole lot of product. So this will probably last me a good while. And so this is kind of what it looks like in the jar. It's, like I said, pretty thick. Now you do have to keep this refrigerated, which poses a kind of an issue for me. I don't like putting anything cold on my hair because of my low porosity. You guessed it. So anything I put has to either been already on warmed hair or in the shower where everything's already steamy and warm. So I had a little bit of a dilemma. So what I decided to do is to scoop some out and place it in another container. That way this can stay in the fridge, and then I have my serving or my portion, and I'd use this little, I forgot what these are called, but I use this to have like a little bit of a portion in it, and then that way I'm not constantly digging in it, because I'm assuming you have to keep it refrigerated to keep it preserved. So I ended up putting too much in here, so I ended up having to seal this and sticking that in the fridge too. But the point of it was to kind of have a separate portion I can use up, and then I can leave it out for a little bit and let it get room temperature. I forgot to let it out for long enough, so it's a little bit chilly. I'm gonna try and warm it up with my hands as much as possible, but I think we'll be okay. All right, so this wash and go, I'm gonna do a side part. The last one was a middle part, and it came out really cute, really bomb. The hold was phenomenal. So I used a little bit too much because it was hard to get that crunch out. It was tough. Like normally it don't take much for me, but that one. So don't let the natural ingredients fool you, hun. That is a hold for pretty well hold for the ingredients that I'm seeing in there. Because normally you'll get like a medium or a light hold, and then you have to get like all the chemically processed stuff to get like the real deep hold. But that one, that's definitely going to replace more than likely the other gels that I use for the most part. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to do something non-conventional. I'm going to do the front part first. Normally I do the back, and then I work my way up to the front. Back, front, and front. Yeah, so because this section of my hair, it doesn't I name it Can't Get Right. If any of you seen the movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It can't get right. And maybe it's because I do it last and it's my most frizziest part of my hair. And usually when it starts to semi-dry, that's when I have issues. Even when I reapply water, I still see issues with frizz. So I'm gonna try and do this section first and see if I can get some better results. So I'm gonna do the front and then the back. So I apologize if I'm gonna confuse you and it doesn't make any sense, but I'm just testing out something and I'm just curious how it'll work out. Okay, so normally when I put in my leave-in, I kind of do a twist and then a bantu, just to keep the hair closer to my scalp where the heat is, because once again, heat really helps my hair because I don't want the product to just sit on my hair. So like see how shiny? So right now it doesn't look that bad, right? See, looks nice and curly and shiny. That'll change, trust me. So I'm gonna do the other side. Woo, juices and berries. So I'm gonna do the other side because I need to part it. And now I need to figure out what I did with my parting comb. So give me just a second. All right, got a parting comb. Didn't know I could do magic, did you? Okay, so we're gonna do a part over here. And I don't get too fancy with my parts, I really don't. Because more likely it's gonna all kind of blend in anyway. And I'm looking at my big mirror while I do this because I don't want my part to be that jacked up. So I'm blind, in case you haven't noticed, with the glasses, with the 4 eyes, my eyeballs I call them, and I can't see very well without them, and so I have to be careful about my depth perception when I do these videos. It's kind of hard, you know. You're staring at this tiny little screen, and you're supposed to keen in on a specific part of your hair, and you got that little tiny screen. So the big one kind of gives me a better view. Sorry, so if you haven't noticed, it's starting to do this number right here. See? And that's what it does. No rhyme or reason, it just does. One day I'm gonna figure it out. I've been kind of researching it to figure out what causes that. It just may be how my hair grows, I don't know. So this is actually looking pretty good. So it may be a protein thing. All right, so because it is starting to look a little bit frizzy, I'm gonna spray some water on it to kind of get it a little bit more prepped for the gel. Sometimes I'll use a cream with the gel. Now, my hair is really moisturized, so if I start packing on the products, it may not absorb because of my low density nature. So maybe when it starts to get warmer outside, colder outside, it's actually kind of chilly today. In the winter, I may need to add a cream, a light cream, not a heavy cream, to my wash and goes, just to provide that extra bit of moisture, because coldness and how dry it is here, it will dry out my poor hair. So, and I've been trying to drink more water. All those things you got to do to build internal hydration. It also affects your hair. All right, so I've warmed up my hair enough because it was a little cold. And then now I'm gonna apply the gel. So I'm just gonna get one like good little blob like that. And I'm just gonna work it in my hands, get it warmed up because it's cold. It's cold, the product's kind of cold. I'm cold nature, so hopefully my hands are warm enough. I think they are, I think they're warm enough. All right, so I'm just gonna apply it to the root section because that is where I see the most frizz. So I want to lay it down. I want to lay down my roots, y'all. And so I'm just kind of doing this number. Then I'm gonna work it to the rest of my hair. Okay. I'm gonna use my pattern brush. Usually I use my denim brush, but my daughter stole it, so I'm just gonna use this for right now. And they both work about the same. I just like separating them. It just makes it easier to keep them clean. So I'm just gonna kind of use this to kind of clump the curls just a little bit. Like I said, I normally don't do this for the rest, but I'm paying extra special attention to this section of my hair. So I'm gonna get another little blob here. I'm gonna put it on the back of my hand, kind of has some reserve, some gel reserve. And I'm just gonna kind of, now I like to shingle. Shingling has changed the game, y'all. I used to just do the praying hands and my curls would look, they would clump, but then it'd be like, the clumps will look different towards the bottom than they do at the top. And then certain sections of my hair would look, I may post some pictures to show you what I'm talking about, but my curls were not uniformed. And so one day I was like, you know what? Even if it takes me extra time, I'm going to shingle because see what I'm talking about. It'll definitely change things up for you. So I don't do like a real thorough shingling. Like some of them do like each strand at a time. And then, like I said, if you watch enough YouTube videos, you'll see everybody has a different way to shingle. Once again, I'm short on time, so I'm just going to grab a good amount of hair. See, my hair's already clumping. Y'all look at that. Look at that. It's already clumping just from the gel I put on it already. So I got to be careful. So I like to smooth it out because if I don't smooth it out, my ends are going to look a hot mess when this dries. And I tend to still have some shed hair lingering. And so I want to make sure I've worked out that shed hair. Otherwise, it'll get all tangled up. And then I'll have single strand knots. And then I'm going to be cutting my hair off. All right, so here we go. Just kind of smoothing it out. This takes practice. So if you're just kind of like struggling, be patient with yourself. It'll come to you, I promise. So I'm just getting a little gel on I'm probably still putting too much, but at this point, I don't care. I'll be a little heavy-handed with the gel. I'd rather be heavy-handed and my curls come out tight and right than to have a frizzy mess on my hair. All right, so I'm just kind of working it through. Hopefully y'all can see this pretty well. I don't have my ring light because I figured my bathroom light will be sufficient enough. But hopefully you can see this. I'm just taking small little pieces and just working that gel all the way from top to bottom as much as possible. Like I said, this is great for those trouble areas. Those areas that just don't quite curl right. When you're transitioning and you want some curls, this is good too. When you've done your big chop and you got that, I forgot what they call it, but your hair is adjusting from being straight. I think they call it scalp hair or something like that. Because when I first transitioned, my curls, for a while, I didn't think I had curls. They looked like waves. It didn't quite curl, so it took some curl training because I've been straightening my hair and blow drying it and straightening it. And so my hair was trained to be straight. Some people call it heat damage. I call it curl. I call it training, curl training, because you can train your curls to be not as coily without actually damaging it. It's just training it. Because look at me now. My curls are flourishing, and it's only been a little over a year, so it's not like I started all over or anything. So eventually they learn to curl. It just takes time and practice to train them to do that, especially if you're used to straightening your hair all the time. And so some people will, when they shingle, they'll scrunch it, and I don't really want to scrunch it. I might scrunch it a little bit. We'll see how I feel. See, I got some shed hair, so I'll scrunch this just a little bit, just tap it, but eventually they'll curl on their own. So if you do have some areas that are heat trained and won't quite curl the way they used to, then you might need to scrunch just a little bit just to kind of tame it back into place. Otherwise, it'll dry slightly curl. So like I have one little piece that looks like it's curled back up, but I have a little piece, see right here? It's a much bigger curl, so it's not wanting to join the rest of the ladies. But it's okay. It'll be all right. It'll shrink. I get shrinkage just like everybody else, so it'll shrink eventually. But see how the top, how it looks a little bit frizzy? So what I want to do is I kind of want to fix that. It's not going to be perfect, but I'm kind of liking what I decided to do, which was this section first, because this looks way better than how it usually looks when I do it. Because when I do this last, all this is frizzy. But the curls look good, see? They look good right there. Like I said, just keep working it. I may never be able to get it perfect, and that's okay, because I can always take some gel and just kind of slick it down a little bit. If I want to hide a little bit of that frizz, it's kind of up to you. It's preference. I mean, you could not care at all. So it's just totally up to you. All right, so let's do this other side, since we already had went ahead and separated it. And I'm actually going to split this into two, because this is a huge chunk. So let's always work in sections. If you get frustrated and your hair just won't cooperate, and it's tangling and it's getting caught on everything and it's frizzy, just work in sections. Just break it into sections. Your hair just might need a little bit more individual attention. Like, so I'm just using my spray bottle because the front tends to dry a little bit faster than the rest of my hair. I'm wondering if the front of my hair has a different porosity than the back of my hair. I'm starting to believe that that's the case. See, this is usually, as you can see, it's not quite, it looks way different from when I first put in that leave-in. When I put in that leave-in, those curls looked a lot juicier. Now it's looking like a web of lies. But the brush kind of helps clump them just a little bit, see? All right. The problem is the top of the hair is not going to look like that. So that's why I use the water. I don't think I need more leave-in, but let me put a little bit of leave-in just to work that moisture in. Just let my hair know, hey, I care about you. I'm listening and I care. All right. All right. Run that brush through again. Helps with the clumping. Boom. Look at that. Boom. All right, so once again, we're gonna take some of this gel. Since this is a bigger section, I'm gonna get a bigger lump. Work that in. Work it. I want the knife. All right. Back to the root. Smooth that root down. Smooth it down, folks. Smooth it down. So that way it don't look too frizzy. Smooth it down. Smooth like a baby's bottom. All right. Work that brush through. Look at that. Pow. Look at that. It don't look like much, but it's gonna be something. All right, so we're gonna speed this up a little bit, and I'm gonna do the rest of my hair, and I'll be back. Alexa, play. So anyway, I'm going to run to an appointment, let this dry a little bit, probably sit on the dryer a little bit longer, and then I will show you the final results and what I did to get my final results. All right, everybody, take care. See you soon. Hi, everybody. I am back, and as you can see, my hair is done. It's actually the next day. And I let it dry, air dry pretty much all of yesterday. I didn't sit under the dryer. I had way too much going on, and it was drying pretty fast. It was dry by the time I went to bed. And so I think part of it is the gel I'm using, because normally when I do wash and goes, they're still kind of like wet. Even if I let it air dry for like 4 or 5 hours. But for some reason, my hair actually was dry by the time I went to bed. So I think it may be the gel, I'm not sure. But that's awesome because I don't really like applying a whole lot of heat to my hair. So the hair dryer, even though it's not considered too damaging, I still don't like the way my hair feels 100% if I sit under a hooded dryer. And it doesn't really dry my hair unless I'm sitting under there for hours, which I do not want to do. So I like that it air dried in a matter of 4 or 5 hours. Not bad. And so I ended up putting up in a hair scarf. And here's the one I use. It's just a satin silk scarf. And I just pull it up, and then I put like a hair bonnet on top because I don't like my little hair fringly things touching my face. And so, yeah, and then in the next morning, I just kind of shook it out and I stretched it. Normally I don't stretch it just because, like I said, I don't like spending a whole lot of time on my hair, but I did it because number one, I like the way it looks, and number two, I'm experimenting with something that I heard from another YouTuber about not stretching your hair and that causing more single strand knots. I get a lot of single strand knots, particularly in the back. And so I thought maybe if I stretched it, maybe that I'll see somewhat of a reduction in single strand knots. So we're gonna see, I'm just gonna play with that a little bit just to kind of find out. But don't let these precious, juicy curls fool you. You know what I mean? It takes a lot of work to get your hair to look the way you want it to look. And I know some of you are probably looking at my texture and going, oh, well, you got great, hair texture. You're probably a 3D or a 3C or 3A or whatever. But let me tell you, it doesn't matter what your texture is. If you don't take care of your hair, you don't know how to do it, it's gonna look a hot mess. Some hair textures are not considered easier than others. The only one I would consider easy is just straight hair. I mean, otherwise, you're not having to do a whole lot with it. It's just straight. But if you're working with any sort of texture, whether it's curly or coily or kinky, anything like that, it's gonna take some work, and it's gonna take knowing the right styling techniques, the right hair products, spending the right amount of time on your hair to get it to look the way you want it to look, honey, okay? So like I said, don't think this is easy. This is not easy. I've been natural for just a year, and it took a lot of studying other YouTubers, a lot of practice, a lot of learning my own hair texture for me to be like, okay, I know it's probably gonna work. And the journey that I went on, seeing how my hair used to look when I used to think it was bomb. I used to think, oh wow, I really mastered this wash and go. And then I'm like looking at my hair now and I'm like, it's getting better. So it's not an overnight thing. It's not a sprint. It is a marathon. It's gonna take you some time. So if you're frustrated with your hair, start with basics. Start learning your hair density. Start learning your hair porosity. Start learning what sort of products work best with the type of density and porosity that your hair has. So don't just go off of hair texture or hair typing. Try to learn more about what it is that you're seeing, because I can look at other hair YouTubers who may have the same hair texture as me, but I can't follow their regimen to a T because they may have different hair than I do. So that's all I'm saying. That's the only point I'm trying to make, is learn your hair, be the expert on your hair. What may work for me may not work best for you, but hopefully you can take some of the things that I'm showing you and teaching you, and you can apply it and then maybe tweak it a little bit. And so I just want to share what I know, and hopefully it helps somebody out there. But just real quickly, to kind of cut back on the rambling that I'm doing, back to what I did to get my hair to look this way. And I am so happy with the results. And I mean it this time. I'm actually happy with the results. I'm not lying to you. And it's not going to take 2-3 days for me to figure out I don't like it. This is pretty much how it came out the last time I did it. I wasn't as heavy with the gel, so I didn't have as much, because there's some parts where I could not break that cast. Like, I was like, well, I don't want to damage my hair, so I'm going to leave it alone and let it eventually, the cast break. So definitely be careful with how much of that gel you use, because it is a strong hold. But I like that I use my other leave-in conditioner from Pattern, other than the Main's Choice, because I feel like my hair is a lot softer. So that leave-in did a really good job at retaining a lot of that hydration and moisture. And so when I got up this morning, I sectioned my hair off, and I used my little satin scrunchies. I got these from Pattern, but you can find satin silk scrunchies on Amazon. You can probably get a huge pack of them, like really, really cheap. I don't know what I paid for these. I only got 3, but I just liked them. I thought they were cute, and I didn't have any, so I just did an impulse buy and bought them. So I sectioned it off, and I did like a kind of a soft stretch with the scrunchie, so I kind of binded the different sections. And then I took my hair dryer with the diffuser nozzle here, and I just kind of went down, just kind of held a section down and just kind of, worked it up and down a little bit. I did it, I switched between low and medium heat. My hair dryer is really cheap, so like the low is too low and the medium is too hot, so I had to like kind of switch it on and off, because like I said, I'm trying to reduce heat on my hair. And yeah, so I just did that for each section until I kind of let it to start to hang a little bit. It's not as stretched as some of you may want it. So you may continue to keep doing that, or you may continue to keep binding it with the scrunchies. After a couple of days of me putting it up and it being naturally stretched that way, it's gonna hang a little lower over the course of a few days. I don't wanna overwork or over manipulate my hair because I don't want to see a whole lot of frizz, especially in this front area, because you remember this was my problem area. So right now it's looking really tame, but I guarantee you by day 5, it's gonna look crazy. It's gonna be like this number. I'm gonna look like a little rooster in the front of my hair. It's guaranteed to happen. So I try to reduce the amount of manipulation just to prevent that from happening. What else did I do? I did use a little oil, so I did use the Melanin multi-purpose blend oil. As you remember, this was my favorite thing to use. It's very lightweight. It doesn't feel heavy on my hair, so I just put a little bit in my hands as I'm working it through my hair, as I'm stretching it and doing the blow dryer to stretch it a little bit. And then I picked it out just a tad bit. I didn't need to pick it out that much because what I was doing, like I said, I still have some clump curls. So if I wanted to, I could break those apart. But like I said, I'm really worried about over manipulating and getting frizz. So I'm just not going to, you know, play too much with the curls. I probably will get some single strand, not just because I'm just, you know, paranoid about playing with my hair. But I use my little pick and I just kind of fluff it out a little bit if I want to. Like so. See? And then I put a little hair gel right here, grab it. I used this one I actually, yesterday when I was at the very end, you didn't see it, I didn't put it on video, but I used her gel Slick and Snatch, and let me tell you, it does snatch. Like, edges are laid with this bad boy right here. I love this hair gel. I think some people use it use this in wash and goes, but I don't think I'm gonna use it for that. Maybe one day, I don't know. But yeah, so I just kind of like slicked it back a little bit to keep it in place. A little bobby pin right here, and boom, I'm good to go. Like, this will last me a whole week. But yeah, that's all I did. Like I said, I love the results. Really cute. Let me show you the back. See, the back looks really nice. But yeah, well, hopefully you guys get that gel. And I don't have enough influence to give y'all a discount code. You know, but it's great. It's a great investment. It did take a while to get here because of COVID and shipping. I've been waiting for that I waited for that, I think 3 weeks. So the shipping does take a little while, but there's other gels that you can use. Extreme Gel is another good one. I'm trying to think what else. Uncle Funky's daughter has a hair gel that's really good. I've used before. So there's different hair gels that you can play around with. The Moringa that I showed you in the last video, that's good for wash and goes as well. So just find a really good hair gel that works for you. Sometimes you may not want like a crunch or a cast. Like I got a cast right here, and see, it's not, like I said, I'm being careful because I don't want to damage my hair because it's so cast. But yeah, just find what gel works for you. And it's like I said, it's all about technique. It's all about putting all that proper hydration before you do your wash and go, because if your hair is not properly hydrated, your wash and go may not come out that right. Make sure your ends are trimmed, you know, just your usual maintenance type stuff you want to make sure you're doing, so that way you don't have to put in as much work when you are actually styling your hair. The styling should be simple and easy. Like I said, I didn't have to put in an extra cream. I just did my leave-in and my gel, and that's it. Like, I don't have to layer on a ton of products to get it to do what I wanted to do. All right, well, that's it. Thank you everybody for joining me once again. And if you would like to see more videos and you would like to be notified, please subscribe. I promise I will be posting a lot more often. It's just been a little crazy lately with you know what. So, and then of course, if you would like to receive warmer notification or one more notification from me, please select your notifications for when I do post my new videos. But thank you everybody, and hopefully I will see you again soon. Thanks.